All right, so welcome back. I'm Shane from Green Hills Guitar Studio, and we're going to continue with some more of this tablature, guitar tablature explanation. Again, bottom line is your thick string, top line is your thin string. So this would be a little blues riff in the key of E, and remember the numbers tell you what fret to play, not what finger. So you have to come up with a fingering that you can do consistently and be in a good hand position when you transition. So this is the thick string open, open again, thick string fourth fret again, then you transition to the next string. So where the area of transition, aside from these fret movements between 4 and 2, is figuring out how to get up to this 5. And then the riff does the same thing but moves to the next string. So now the 0's on the 5th string. So this would be for the 4 chord. So if we're in E, this is for the E chord, this is for the A chord. So here is an example. This is what it would sound like. Let's talk about the transitions in the hand position. So the 0 is the thick string open. Then you have to get up to the 4th fret on the thick string. And then you have to move to the 2nd fret on the next string. Then the 4th fret on the 5th string. So if you are in a good hand position, you can do this with fingers 3 and 1. Now the question becomes this 5 right here. How are you going to grab that 5? You could slide your 3rd finger up. You could grab it with your pinky. There are numerous ways you can approach it, but you could do it like this. Let me get a little closer here. Now look where my 3rd finger is. I have to get back. Now my first finger's just hanging out. They just kind of fall within place. Then when you transition, you just transition back. Or you could do it with your finger and just stay in the position. See? Pretty little movement. Pretty small movements, I guess. And then the riff does the same thing on the next string. Same transition. So it would look like this on the front of the neck. If you wanted to slide with the 3rd finger, that would be fine too. And what's going on the back of the neck? See, my hand position stays pretty quiet. Take this tuner off here. I'm not bouncing around a lot because that's going to get me out of hand position on the front. So on the back, it's going to look like this. On the front, I was using my pinky for that 5. But you could see how little movement there was in my thumb. If you're doing a bunch of this stuff, that stuff, moving around a lot, it's really going to throw off what's happening on the front of the guitar neck. So instead of doing it with the pinky, this time, I'll show you the transition on the back with the 3rd finger. So again, I'm in a good position. See what I did there? I went to the 5th fret. I just dragged my thumb up. But I just did this. I didn't do this. I didn't bounce around on the front. I just went. Let me give you a good angle here. So my thumb angle is consistent, and I just drag it up and put it back. I'm not gripping too tightly with the thumb because I'll get stuck there. I need to be able to transition. So drag it up, drag it back, next string. So take your time to get the positions down so that you can do them smoothly. And then with the right hand, I was just picking down up. You could pick all down if you want to. So the idea being, work on those picking exercises that I gave you earlier. Work on your hand positions and your transitions so you know where you're going and how you're going to get there with what fingering. Remember, these numbers do not tell you what finger to use. They tell you what fret to play on what string. This is how you'll see tab, and oftentimes the rhythm will be written up above. A lot of times, though, when people are first learning how to play guitar, they don't learn how to sight read, and they don't learn how to read rhythms. So they're listening to the recording, following the tab, and kind of guessing at the rhythm. You'll be better off to at least have a basic understanding of notation and rhythm and how to read rhythms, how to count and subdivide, so that you know what's going on with the beat and you know how to keep it consistent. And even if the rhythms are written out above, you'll be able to translate the rhythm to the tab. You'll be able to see the rhythm up above in standard notation and correlate it to the tablature. That's pretty important. So blues in E, this is your E chord. That's your one chord. The A is the 4 chord. So this is a riff over the E chord, and then the same riff shifts to the next string for the 4 chord. And this is only 4 measures of what would typically be a 12 measure or a 12-bar blues. So I just gave you the 1 and the 4 chord to work on for the transitions. So go slowly, make sure you're reading the tab correctly. People often flip it and they make this the thin string and this the thick string. People get a little wacky with their fingering because they hear this and they know, oh, I know what this sounds like. So they just try to plow through with one finger. And that's not going to work. You're going to miss some stuff. So have fun with it. And if you have any questions, email me, Shane at greenhillsguitarstudio.com. Okay, have fun. See you next time.